Greetings, mighty companions, and welcome back to the Practical and Healing Applications of A Course in Miracles with me, Rebecca Quinn. I will be your Course in Miracles host for this broadcast. And thank you for joining this broadcast. I'm glad you're here, and I hope that it's helpful for you. So, I'm a Course in Miracles teacher, and that's what I teach. I've been teaching and learning Course in Miracles for over 40 years. And I teach A Course in Miracles because it works. It actually works. I've tuned into and experienced many different spiritual paths. As a holistic psychotherapist, I've experienced many psychotherapeutic modalities, and nothing has worked to bring peace of mind to me and all the people that I have supported over the years as students and clients like A Course in Miracles does. It may seem difficult to understand, but A Course in Miracles works. It works to bring peace. A Course in Miracles tells us that its sole purpose is peace of mind. So that's what it's about. That's its purpose, and it accomplishes that. So that is why I study it and teach it after all these years. All right. I started teaching A Course in Miracles when I was 19 years old, and I started studying A Course in Miracles when I was 17. So I've been around the Course in Miracles a little bit. And let me tell you, it works. So it works to accomplish its own stated goal, which is peace of mind. So, like it says, that peace of mind is no idle gift, because when you have peace of mind, you have everything. You have everything. Everything's good. All right. So I see that I am now on Facebook, broadcasting, and on YouTube as well. So I'm going to show you where we're at today, where we're going to be. We're going to be in the workbook. So if you're not familiar with A Course in Miracles, The Course in Miracles is a self-study curriculum that some people find helpful to study with others and with a teacher. I know myself, if I had not been introduced to The Course in Miracles through my teacher / translator, Earl Raj Purdy, I would have never gotten to A Course in Miracles. Opening it up and seeing the Judeo-Christian terminology, I would have said, no, thank you. But my teacher was what A Course in Miracles says a good teacher should be, and that is a translator, where they keep true to the meaning, but they change the form of the meaning to the language that is most helpful to the receiver. And so my teacher, Earl Raj Purdy, was a brilliant translator of A Course in Miracles. And that's what enabled me to see the value and the power of these ideas and go for it. And started studying it at 17. I was organizing workshops for Earl while I was still in high school, bringing them from Memphis. And then at 19, I knew I wanted to study A Course in Miracles as my spiritual path and as my career. And so I moved to Memphis, Tennessee to apprentice myself to him. And what convinced me that A Course in Miracles worked was I was going through a terrible breakup, very painful breakup. And not just personally painful, but it was, social scandal, of course, and very painful. And the only thing that worked was that every day after my first semester in college, I would come back to my little room and smoke a joint and listen to A Course in Miracles. And then one day I realized that these ideas have released me from this very deep pain that I had been experiencing. And it was a complete surprise. And I thought to myself, if A Course in Miracles can do that, then A Course in Miracles can do anything. And I'm going to devote my life to learning it, to learning how to accept it, and learning how to teach it and help other people to experience that level of release from pain. And that's what I've been doing for the last 40 years or so. And as a psychotherapist, I use the Course in Miracles principles for their healing value and power with my clients in my holistic psychotherapy business, Miracle Psychotherapeutics. So I didn't expect to be sharing about that. Thank you, DR. Thank you very much. And so let's read some Course, shall we? Let's see if we can hear what it's saying and see if we can hear what it's saying about how to use it. As a teacher and a facilitator of the Course, that's my goal, is to help students to understand what it's saying, and to also understand how the Course itself is teaching us how to use it, how to apply it. So the Course is telling us, first, the Course in Miracles tells us what we have been thinking, and the results that have obviously resulted from all that we've been thinking, which is all that we've learned. Then it tells us what the truth about reality is, what the truth about ourselves is, what is the truth about ourselves, which is always basically the exact opposite of everything that we learned in the past. And then the Course in Miracles tells us how to use these ideas, right? And the entire workbook is nothing but here's how to take this idea from the Course and use it today on no matter what comes up, on whatever comes up. Use it like this, say it like this, remember this. So it's basically, so that's basically what it's doing. It's telling you what you have learned, what the obvious results are, and then what the truth is and how to use that truth. It's a very complete Course. It's a very complete and consistent Course. Right? It's consistent. Right? DR says, my thinking is really bothering me today, trying to let go of these weak thoughts. Beautiful. Well, you've come to the right place at DR, and I join you in that purpose. Yes, I've been having some bothersome thoughts myself today. And so let's join together in hearing the truth about ourselves and applying it and getting the miracle, which in this case would be experiencing and accepting your strength. So weak thoughts serve only to have you feel weak and vulnerable and inadequate and all of those other feelings. But the truth about ourselves enables us to feel the truth about ourselves, which is our strength. Which is within us, just that we are unaware of, right? So Course in Miracles is just about clearing out the false thoughts that we learned in the past that never were true. That's all. Course in Miracles does not seek to teach the meaning of love, because that is what you are. That's just what you are. That's what everybody is, because that's all that God creates. Because that's all God is. So the purpose of the Course is just to remove the obstacles to your awareness of what you are, what you've always been, what you always will be, that you just don't know about right now. And that's the purpose of A Course in Miracles. It's not about changing you to something you're not, it's about removing the obstacles to your awareness of what you are right now, always have been, always will be. That's all the Course in Miracles is about. Okay. I love it. Greg goes, first we're told how insane the belief system we are taught is and was, and encourages us to exchange those ideas for a much better way. Beautiful. Thanks, honey. Hi, Bridget. Lovely to see you. Lovely to see you. All right, guys. So we are on we are in the workbook, which is the third book of the curriculum. And it's the back of the book, the workbook, 365 daily lessons. And I went out to one of our meditation gardens today, sitting on the earth, and then I pulled up the random number generator, which I also call the never random number generator, because it ain't never random, and it pulled up the workbook, and then I put 365 in, and it pulled up lesson 247. which is a short lesson. These are the lessons in the back. So, and just in case we finished with this short lesson before we were done, I did the random number generator again, in a workbook, and then it pulled up a later workbook lesson, and that was 334. And what a surprise, wouldn't you know it? It was almost the exact same theme, as if it picked up from where the workbook lesson that first came up ended. So both lessons on forgiveness. And so we're going to talk about forgiveness. Now, this lesson, lesson 247, the title is Without Forgiveness, I Will Still Be Blind. Now, funny, when I went to type in the title, I was typing and I wrote, without forgiveness, I will still be blonde. Thank God I caught that. And then I thought, okay, I'm so glad I caught that. But it is without forgiveness, I will still be blind. Now, that is supposing here, first of all, that I am blind, right? That to not have forgiveness, to not be utilizing the correct perception that forgiveness is to be blind. Which would have to mean that if you are holding a grievance, if you are experiencing a grievance, what that means is that you are blind. And it also means that while we are holding grievances, we are blind. We don't see the true nature of reality. We don't see what's real and true. We don't see who we are. We don't see the gifts and the miracles that are all around us all the time. We don't see all the strength and all the mighty companions and friends and support that we have. We just don't see the good. Which, of course, a miracle says, if you don't see the good, then you're not seeing it all. So when you don't have loving, grateful, correct reception, you are blind. You don't see. Now, how well and efficiently and effectively do you walk through the world with your eyes closed? No, if you're walking through a room and your eyes are closed, what happens? Well, you trip over things that you didn't see, and you walk by doors that are open. So when you are blind, you stumble, you fall, and you hurt yourself. You hurt yourself because you're tripping over obstacles that if you were awake, if you could see, you would have walked around. So it's not good to be blind. It doesn't feel good. It hurts to be blind. And I'm not talking about physical sight. I'm talking about spiritual sight. I'm talking about being able to see what's really there, what's really going on, and who you really are and who they really are, right? When you can't see, then you are going to stumble over obstacles you didn't see, and you're going to walk past doors that were open to you. That's what happens when you can't see, when you're blind. So, I see. Okay. Like I'm blind by the laser, LOL, not seeing blessings because I'm looking at one negative thing in my perception. That's exactly right. You cannot, just like your mind can't serve two masters, love and fear, at the same time, you also can't see the truth, the loving, joyous, abundant, safe truth, while you are looking at your grievances. So there's two things here that this lesson is talking about. I'm fixating on one problem with laser focus. Okay. Thanks for that clarification. All right. So just like the mind can't serve two masters, love and fear, at the same time, also you can't see two opposites at the same time. And you can't see love and fear at the same time. And so if you're looking at love, you don't see anything to be afraid of. And if you're looking at fear, if you're looking for fear and looking at fear, then you will have no idea that all this good is right there in your hands, right there with you, right within your heart and in your mind. And so that's why the Course in Miracles says, without forgiveness, I will still be blind. Without forgiveness, I will still be blind. Blind man walking, be exactly. That's right. You know, blind man walking, beware. Absolutely. Definitely do not be letting someone who is blind, which means holding grievances, lead you. Somebody who's angry, somebody who's always upset, somebody who doesn't see the good, somebody who doesn't trust the good in situations and in others, somebody who sees enemies and not friends, somebody who always sees a reason to be angry and a reason to be afraid. And when they're told that there's another way of seeing, they get angrier. Don't follow that person. Don't let them lead you, because they will just lead you to a nameless precipice and push you over. So don't don't be the blind following the blind, right? If you follow someone who is blind, spiritually speaking, then you are blind. And the Course says that they will lead you to a nameless precipice called specialness, and they will hurtle you over it. The Course doesn't mince words about anything. Course in Miracles says it like it is. And that's why the author of the Course came back through a book and not a person, not a body, because what the author of A Course in Miracles talks about is so what's the word? Fearless, so straight up that, if a person was saying these ideas, if a person was claiming to be the author of these ideas, you know what would happen to them. We know it's an old story. It's an old story about people who take the risk to speak the truth, to power, to speak the truth to illusions of power and control. We see what happens very often, and not just to those public people that we know of, but whenever we begin to listen to the loving, guiltless, sinless, oneness, forgiveness truth, our own egos attack us. Our own egos feel offended. Our own egos consider that to be a blasphemy, right? So we know that in the ego, the fearful aspect of consciousness, the fearful mind, is afraid of truth, because the loving truth, the forgiveness truth, undoes the ego. What is the ego? It is a fearful thought. That from this fearful thought comes a fearful thought system. That's what the ego is. It's a fearful thought system. It's a fearful belief system. That's what the ego is. And there's our personal ego that expresses as Anna Rebecca Quinn. And there is the collective ego that, that seems to rule the world, right? That is offended by love, is offended by truth, it's offended by forgiveness. It calls sinlessness blasphemy and wants to kill it, okay? That's the collective ego. And it expresses collectively, we might call it, the devil or whatever, but personally it expresses through us individually as the ego, our ego. All right, so here we go. Lesson 247 in the workbook. I love it. And Greg says, and I will bring the blind by a way that they know not. I will lead them in the paths that they have not known. I will make darkness light before them and crooked things straight. Things will I do, things will I do. Beautiful. That's a beautiful quote, Greg. Thank you very much. Beautiful. Gives me chills. Okay, so here we go. Without forgiveness, I will still be blind. All right. And then if you haven't already, hit like, share, and subscribe, if you will, and help the algorithm to push this content out to more people, because Lord knows this world needs this content more, truly. Because we got a lot of blind folks in this world, a lot of blind folks that are hurting themselves and each other, only because they don't see the truth. They don't see their reality. They don't see the loving, peaceful, eternal nature of reality. And so they're terrified all the time. And terrified, miserable people can be very vicious, as we have seen. So we want everyone around us to know the loving truth about themselves, especially the people around us, because people who don't know the truth about themselves are very frightened, and they can be very vicious. So make sure to protect yourself, and make sure everybody around you knows the loving truth and is reminded about the loving, guiltless, sinless truth about them. Make sure they remember that they're guiltless and that they're equal to you, and you're equal to them, and you are both innocent, guiltless children of God whom God loves. So make sure they remember that. That is your ultimate insurance policy. That's your ultimate protection, that the people around you feel loved, that they feel innocent, and that they feel safe, right? Yeah, that's your ultimate insurance policy right there. All right. Mary, hi, honey. Thanks for such clarification. So refreshing hearing. Thank you. Right on, Mary. I love having you in class and hearing your thoughts. All of you guys on here so far. Such a blessing. I always perceive my classes as co-creations. I really do. And so I love the dialogue that we all enter into around these ideas. Our dialogue around these ideas just deepens the awareness and the practice of these ideas for me and all of us, everybody who's watching at any time, everybody who's here participating, and for me as well. So thank you for being here, and thanks for sharing. Thanks for talking with each other and with me about these ideas. Okay, so here it goes. Lesson 247. Without forgiveness, I will still be blind. Sin is the symbol of attack. So sin is a symbol. What is sin a symbol of? It's a symbol of attack. So sin is an attack. Sin is not a reality. Sin is not a state of mind. Sin is not a reality. Sin is just a symbol of attack. So, the ego's favorite way of attacking the children of God is with the false idea of sin. That's how the ego, the fearful, angry, guilty mind that doesn't know the truth, it attacks the children of God, us, by fostering the belief in sin. You're guilty. You're born in sin. You're gonna die in sin, and everything you enjoy doing is a sin. And what so and so is doing over there that you don't like, that's a sin. And anybody who doesn't believe in sin, well, they are a blasphemer deserving death. Okay. That's the way that the ego, personal and collective, attacks us, is with the belief in sin. So it doesn't just attack you straight out because it knows you wouldn't take that for long. but it attacks you by saying, you know, you're guilty. You're guilty for this, and you're born guilty, and you're guilty for everything you do, especially anything that you enjoy, makes you happy. And you're going to die sin, and everybody who's doing anything you don't like, they're sinning also, and of course worse than you is what the ego says. So sin is the symbol of attack, period. Now if you see sin anywhere, you will suffer. If you see sin anywhere, you will suffer. It says, behold sin anywhere, and I will suffer. Isn't that interesting? That according to the Course in Miracles, my suffering, your suffering, our suffering is not coming from what's happening out there that's being done to us. That our suffering, whatever form it takes, body, mind, or spirit, is coming from us seeing sin anywhere. Okay, which is the same thing as us as saying, I'm suffering because I'm attacking somewhere, someone, and I'm attacking them or myself with my belief in sin. And that's why I'm suffering. That's why I'm hurting. That's why I'm broke. That's why I feel lonely. That's why I feel depressed and anxious. That's why I have these abundance issues. That's why I have financial problems. That's why I have problems, according to A Course in Miracles. A Course in Miracles says problems are not in the world. They don't come from the world. They're not in the world. Problems are what our problems source is us misperceiving sin, seeing guilt, seeing sin. To say that I'm seeing sin or guilt in someone out there is to say I see that person deserves to be punished because of what I see in them. That's what sin, that's what seeing sin means. It means what I see in you deserves punishment. And so, and starting with my judgment and my condemnation of you, of them. That's what it means to see sin. See sin anywhere, and you will suffer. I'm suffering because I am seeing somebody as guilty, and which means deserving of punishment. And the Course in Miracles says God doesn't wish anyone to be punished for a mistake. God doesn't will anybody be punished for a mistake. Nobody. That's what Course in Miracles says. That's one of those statements where you realize why the author chose to come back to a book. The author says God doesn't wish anybody be punished for a mistake. And the Course in Miracles says, don't see them as worthy of punishment just because you want them to be punished. Just because you want them to be punished does not mean that they deserve punishment. God doesn't see anybody as worthy of punishment for a mistake. And God in the Course in Miracles says that all problems, all issues are mistakes. All problems are mistakes. And the correction of those mistakes only occur through love. That's it. Mistakes, which you are tempted to call sins, are never corrected by seeing someone as guilty, as worthy of punishment. Punishment never corrects errors. Punishment only maintains the error, keeps the error going. The punishment is what came from the error and the punishment is what came from the error and vice versa. So to punish somebody is to just continue the error that they were making that brought about the perception of punishment for themselves. Hi, Trisha, honey. Oh, lovely to see you, Trisha. You were in my dream last night, Trisha. I was just telling Greg about my dream. I was in a crowded marketplace kind of place, and I was having an interaction with somebody, and then I got a text that I was late to meet you, and I left my interaction and went to find you. So I was looking for you in my dream last night, Trisha. So, oh, thank you, Trisha. You're so sweet. Okay. So it says, if you see sin anywhere, then you will suffer. So if you are suffering in any way, shape, or form, body, mind, or spirit, the first thing you want to ask yourself in honesty is, where is it that I have been perceiving guilt in others or myself? Where is it that I have been attacking others by seeing guilt in others and seeing others as deserving of punishment? Where is that? Now, you're not going to have to think very long about that, and you're not going to have to look far to find that, right? Because we call that natural perception. Oh, I'm not attacking them. I'm not just choosing to see them as guilty. I'm just observing, right? So we call seeing sin and guilt in others not a projection. We see that as just an observation. We don't see that as a judgment. We see that as just an observation. So beautiful. She says it was a divine call. Oh, okay. Yeah, you were calling me. And let me tell you, as soon as I got that text, and I was supposed to meet you at 3, and then I saw that it was 3:15, and so I immediately stood up, left my other holy encounter I was having, and went to go find you. You needed me. Well, thank you for calling me, honey. Keeps me working for good, and even in my dreams. I love it. Okay, thank you, Greg, for letting her know where we're at. I'll go ahead and put that back up. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so then it says, so sin is the symbol of attack. See sin anywhere and I will suffer. Because forgiveness is the only means whereby love's vision comes to me. Okay, now here it uses the word Christ's vision. It says forgiveness, because forgiveness is the only means whereby Christ's vision comes to me. Now, the Course in Miracles defines Christ as your true self, or the universal self that we share. So your true self, your real self, your higher self, your loving right mind, your real, my favorite definition of the Christ is your real self, my real self. Course in Miracles was the first curriculum to truly introduce me to my real self. I didn't realize I had a higher self. I didn't realize I had a real self. So there's the real me, and there's the imposter me. There's the real me and the fake me, right? And the real me is forgiving and loving and powerful and not suffering. The real me isn't suffering because the real me isn't seeing any sin, because the real me knows the truth about me as established by my Creator, which is sinless, guiltless, pure love, eternal love, changeless love. So the real me, the true me, the Christ in me, its vision, the only way for its vision to come to me is through forgiveness. So the only way I can have the loving, brilliant, genius, healing, powerful, ecstatic vision that my true self, my higher self has, is through forgiveness, which A Course in Miracles calls correct reception. So I do want to just stop there for a moment and give you the Course in Miracles definition of forgiveness, before we go any further, just in case anybody's watching this and they're not familiar with the Course in Miracles. Just to make sure that you do not define the word forgiveness the way that you've learned to define forgiveness in the past. So, of course, in Miracles defines forgiveness as correct perception, seeing things as they truly are in their innocent, guiltless, eternal, pure love, unconditional love state and reality. That is what forgiveness is. Forgiveness has nothing to do with, I'm going to forgive you for what you did to me that I had nothing to do with, even though you don't deserve it, but because I'm the better of the two, I will forgive you the hurt you caused me, but I ain't going to forget it. Okay. Anybody recognize that type of forgiveness? That's worldly forgiveness. That is not true forgiveness. Course in Miracles calls that forgiveness to destroy. That's not real forgiveness, because that's not real. That's not correct perception. As long as you are seeing what's happening as coming to you, happening to you, unbidden, total victim, and that you didn't ask for, that you might forgive, but they don't really deserve it. That's not real forgiveness. That's forgiveness to destroy. That's really just attack in the form of love. Okay. Course in Miracles has a lot to say about attacks that come in the form of love. Sometimes when we think we're giving love and then people don't respond real well to it, then we feel offended. The truth is that very often that attacks can be concealed behind a wish to help, a seemingly loving intent. Okay? But forgiveness, like Tricia says, forgiveness is the meaning in the Course in Miracles. It's correct perception, yes. And so forgiveness is not, I forgive you for what you did to me that hurt me, that I'm now going to forgive you for, even though you don't deserve it. But because I'm the better of the two, I'm going to pardon you my hurt, but I ain't going to forget it. That is not forgiveness. So it says, but forgiveness, which is correct perception, seeing the truth of the matter, like you can't be hurt because you were created as love and only love, and you can't change by what anybody does to you or makes of you. That kind of forgiveness, that's the only means. Seeing things correctly is the only means whereby the vision of your true self, the Christ in you, can come to you. Yeah. And if anybody has ever experienced a true vision of love, a true vision of mercy, a true vision of the true nature of reality, it's ecstatic. When the times when I am receiving the visions from my higher self, visions of love and power and mercy, visions of release. Every time I'm receiving visions from the Christ in me, my higher true self, it's ecstasy. It's completely fulfilling. It's 100% satisfying. It's the ultimate. I've come to live for those moments where I am accepting and open to the vision of my higher self, the Christ in me, because it's 100% satisfying. It's ecstatic. It's releasing. It's saving. It's deeply healing. And so we're looking for the conditions by which we can accept these visions from our higher self. Yes. DR says, I want to recognize others as equals. Beautiful. Mm-hmm. That's where it's at, DR. And forgiveness, that's a great way to describe forgiveness, DR. to correct perception, forgiveness is to recognize that this person is just like you, right? That there's no differences. You're the same. You're both children of God, whom God equally loves, and children of God who have forgotten the truth about themselves, and so they're acting insanely, right? To forgive means you see we are the same. We're both created by the same creator. We're equally loved by our creator. We can't lose our creator's love. We're both in our reality, true, pure love, and we don't know it. So we're the same, we're equal, right? And that's what forgiveness sees. That's what the vision of our higher self sees, is that we're equal, we're the same, which means we're not different. We may express our oneness uniquely, and that's wonderful, but we're the same in that we're one. Okay? And one means equal. And Dior says, yes, I definitely had a role in that. Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you, Mary. Thank you. Greg says, the way I created us falls far short of the glory that God created us to be. Amen to that. And that's what we see. That's the vision that we receive when we are practicing forgiveness. So given all that, then it says, so let me accept what the Christ in me, its sight shows me as the simple truth. And if I accept that, then I am healed completely. If I accept what my true self sight, if I accept what my forgiving mind shows me as the simple truth about others, then I am healed completely. So that's what we want to ask. That should be our prayer when there's somebody that we are having unloving, a guilty attack thoughts around. Anybody whom you're having unloving thoughts about, that's somebody who you are not seeing correctly, you are not forgiving, and now that is somebody that you are hurting yourself through. And so the prayer now is, help me accept your sight, love, of this person. Love, how do you see this person? I want the vision of how you see this person, love. I want to accept your sight, your vision of this person that I am not seeing correctly. I want to accept that. Love, how do you see this person? I know you don't see this person like I do, because the way I'm seeing this person is hurting me. It's making me angry. It's making me afraid. It's making me feel guilty. It's me attacking them, which is calling unconsciously punishment to myself. And so, love, how do you see this person? What's your vision? Higher self, Christ in me, how do you see them? I want to accept that, because when I do that, and when I accept that, then me, am healed completely. And what does it mean to be healed completely? Well, not afraid anymore. Don't feel ashamed anymore. I'm not broken anymore. I'm not sick anymore. I'm not broke anymore. I'm not unhappy anymore. That's what it means to be healed completely. I feel safe. I feel loved. I have everything I need. And I'm not afraid, and I don't feel ashamed. And I know that whatever I need in time, I will have, and it will be replenished as long as I need it, as long as I don't use it to linger in time. So that's what it means to be healed completely. Sound good? All right. Now the last the last two or three sentences of this is how truth sees others. Okay, so we're saying, let me accept what love's sight shows me about them as the simple truth, and then I'll be healed completely. Okay, well, how does love see them? All right, well, then it answers it. It's interesting. So here's how love sees others that you're upset with. And this is what love is saying to the person that you've been attacking with the idea of guilt. This is what love is saying to them in this next sentence. Okay, ready? Love is saying to them, brother, sister, come here and let me look on you. Your loveliness reflects my own, and your sinlessness is my sinlessness. Brother, sister, you stand forgiven, and I stand with you. Okay, did you know that that's what love was saying to the people that you were holding grievances against? No, no, love is not supposed to love the people that I'm hating. God is supposed to punish people just because I see them as worthy of punishment. Come on. He's saying that that's why you're suffering. That's why you're suffering. That's where you're suffering. Your pain is coming from. It's coming because you're not seeing them the way love is seeing them. Right. And so if you want to stop suffering, then you want to see how love sees them. And then you want to change your mind to see them like love sees them. And love is looking at that person. Love isn't looking at that person going, oh, I can't believe they did that. They hurt my feelings. How dare they? You know, what were they thinking? Don't they know who I am? Okay, that's what you're thinking about them that's causing suffering for you. But when love looks at that person, love's like, get over here. Let me look on you. You are so lovely. You are so perfect in your sinlessness. Your sinlessness reflects my own. And you stand completely forgiven. And I stand right beside you. That's what love is saying to them. Now, and then it says in paragraph number 2, that's how I want to look on everybody today. Okay, that's the way love's seeing that person. No, that's not the way I was seeing them. That's not what I was thinking about that person that I was holding a grievance with. Not realizing that I was calling punishment unconsciously to me in the way I was seeing them. And the way I was seeing them was I was holding a grievance. I was seeing them as deserving punishment and just hoping that somebody else besides me would give it to them, right? That's the way I was seeing them, not realizing that I was causing pain and suffering and lack and loss and all that hard stuff for myself. So now, so paragraph number 2, so that's how I would look on everybody today. That's how I would see it. So this person that you're holding a grievance with, we're going to practice you going, come over here and let me look on you. You are so lovely in your innocence. Your innocence is so beautiful. Your innocence is so gorgeous. Your innocence is so radiant. I could just cry with joy upon seeing your beautiful, radiant, guiltless, sinless face. And yes, I know that you have felt guilty because of your mistakes, but hey, we're the same. And you stand forgiven, and I stand right beside you. Now, if you were to look on a person that you were holding a grievance with like that, then you would be healed completely. Yes, they would be completely blessed. It would be a total miracle in their life. But you would be healed completely. Your healing is the first effect of that correct perception forgiveness that you will experience. And that's the only way. That's the only way for love's vision to come to you and set you free and heal you completely. The only way to have love's vision for you is to have that vision for others, to share love's vision of others. It's the only way. And that's not like a condition like, well, until you give it, then you can't have it. It's not a condition like that. It's just that until you are seeing people as guiltless and forgiven and healed, then you will never believe that you deserve it yourself. If you're giving attack to others, no matter what you tell yourself about what you deserve, you'll never really believe that you deserve only love and healing for your errors. You'll never believe that that's all you deserve is love and loving correction while you're offering something besides love to others. This just doesn't work like that. So it works like that, not because it's a tit for tat thing, but that until you see others as worthy of mercy and forgiveness, because they're just like you, they are perfect love, but don't know it and act insane because of it. They're just like you. And until you see them as your equals in innocence, in guiltlessness, lovely in innocence, deserving only mercy for their errors instead of punishment, only then will you see yourself as deserving only mercy instead of punishment for your errors. That's the way it works. That's the way it works. And even if you don't believe it, try it. You've tried everything else, even if it's not true, what can you lose by trying? You're only just being loving. All right. So in paragraph 2, it says, so if that's the way love is looking at that person, then that's the way I want to look on that person. And yes, I need to learn how to see them like that. So that's what we're going to learn how to do in this lesson. So since that's the way love is seeing this person I have a grievance with, love is seeing this person as lovely. Love, their innocence is gorgeous. Their innocence is so radiant and beautiful, you could just cry. If that's the way love sees that person you're angry with, then that's the way you want to learn how to see them too. And the truth is that those folks that we have a grievance with, they are our brothers and sisters. They are our equals. They are our spirit siblings. And they are God's children. That's the truth about them. The truth is not, well, they did this and this is why they did that. And that means they're like this and they're like that. And, that's not the truth about them. The truth about them is that they are your equal in God's love. They are your spiritual sibling, your spirit kin, your equals in God's love, and they are God's children. That's the truth about them. And that they are lovely in their innocence and their guiltlessness. That's the truth about them. That you want to learn to see like love so that you can be free from all suffering today. Today. Not tomorrow, not later, today, right now. Right? Release happens right now. And if any kind of liberation or release is promised in the future, then it ain't a real. All release, all liberation, all healing is something that if you can't accept it right here, right now, where you're at for free, then it isn't real. Okay. The healing that God offers is immediate, eternal, and free. You can accept it at any moment in time for free. So, Course in Miracles says, don't be satisfied with future salvation. Like, oh, someday when I get to heaven, then I'll receive my great reward. Right? No, there is no future salvation. Any kind of salvation that's happening in the future, that is not real salvation. Salvation is something which salvation in this context is complete healing. And salvation, complete healing, is something that's being offered all the time to every child of God for free. So remember what we were saying earlier, that God wills punishment for nobody. God doesn't will that anybody suffer for a wrong decision. Anybody, ever. God knows that every problem is not a sin. Every problem is just a mistake. That a child of God who is only loved just doesn't know what they are. And so they act insanely. When you don't know that you're only loved, when you don't know that you're loved, when you don't know that you were created sinless and remain that way, and you feel guilty and you believe you're sinful, then you are going to believe that you deserve punishment, and you will unconsciously call for that. You will unconsciously ask for that. And the Course in Miracles tells us that what you ask for, the universe does not keep from you. Right? The universe doesn't want you to experience punishment. All that God wants for you is that you would accept loving, gentle correction for your thought errors. That's all love wants for you, is that you accept a loving, gentle correction for your thought errors. And the thought errors that you need correction for is your belief in sin, your belief that you are guilty and that other people are guilty, and the belief that you're guilty, and the only way to stamp out guilt is through punishment. That's the thought error that love wants to correct in your mind gently for you. But it can't thrust that upon you unwillingly. It has to wait. Love has to wait for you to ask for it. Love has to wait for you to want that release. Love has to wait for you to ask for that correction for your thought errors. Because love knows that until you're asking for it, you don't really want it. And so you wouldn't receive it, or you wouldn't recognize it. So love has to wait till you ask. So ask, love, I am suffering right now. And you're telling me that my suffering's coming from my seeing guilt outside of myself in others. And that's making me unconsciously feel guilty and request punishment. Love, I ask for your loving correction of my belief in sin and guilt that I'm using to hurt myself with. I ask for your loving and gentle correction for my thought errors, which is my belief in sin and guilt. That's it. And then love's like, great, that's all I needed. That's our part. That's our only part. Love's part is to do the gentle correction. Our part is only to ask, because love has to wait till we ask, because love isn't like the ego. It doesn't push its will upon you without your willingness. So love is not like the ego. The ego don't care what you want. The ego's like, I'm gonna push on you what I want. I don't care what you want. But love isn't like that. Love waits on welcome, not on time. Love waits on welcome, not on time. Loving correction for your thought errors waits on welcome, not on time. All right. So then says, so in paragraph 2, so would I look on everyone today. My brothers and my sisters are your children. That's what they really are. This person I'm angry with, that's one of your children, God. Your fatherhood created them, God. Your fatherhood created that person. And your fatherhood gave them, oh, your fatherhood created them, and your fatherhood gave them all to me as part of you, God, and part of my own self as well. Okay. So we're talking about love's love's perception of this person that you're holding a grievance with and hurting yourself through. Okay. But love's perception is that that person right there was created by God. And so that person right there is your spiritual sibling. They are a child of God. They are your spiritual sibling. And God gave that person to you as part of God and also part of you. That's the way love sees them. It's kind of different than the way we see them, huh? What a contrast. Total lesson in contrast. The way I see that person I'm holding a grievance with and hurt myself through, and the way God sees that person, the way spirit sees that, the way your true self sees them. Like if you were accessing your loving right mind, the Christ in you, then that's the way you would see them. You'd be like, that person is a child of God, which means that person is my spiritual kin. And God loves that person equally to me. And God gave that person to me as part of God and part of me, knowing that that would be my healing, my joy. That's how love sees them. And we're being taught how to practice seeing the people we're holding grievances with like that. Wow. So we're going to practice seeing these people we're holding grievance with in the exact opposite way that we are currently seeing them. That is hurting us. All right. Beautiful. Now, so then it says, so today I'm going to honor you, God, through your children. Today, God, I'm going to honor you through this person whom I've been holding a grievance with. And in this way, I hope this day to recognize myself. Okay. So that's what we're doing today. We're practicing recognizing these folks that we were holding grievances with as a child of God and equal to us, given by God to us, that we might this day come to recognize our own innocence, our own loveliness, our own perfection, no matter what our egos have done. Okay? So it doesn't matter what mistakes you've made, honestly. The first thing to think about your mistakes is they're not sins. God's not seeing them as sins. God's only seeing your mistake as an error that can be corrected by love if you let him. Okay. So the first part about it is seeing their errors not as sins, but as errors, and remembering that they are a child of God, equal to you, loved equally by God with you, and that God has given them to you. Now, seeing this person that way will enable you to believe the fact that your errors are not sins. See, it's hard for me to believe that my errors aren't sins because I'm still seeing their errors as sins. I'm still seeing them as deserving punishment instead of loving correction. I'm still seeing them as I want to see them instead of trying to see them the way God, the way love sees them. So think about that. What are your errors that to you seem like sins? What errors seem like sins that can't be forgiven to you? Right. Well, those are the sins that you have been seeing in others, not as just mistakes that deserve only loving correction. So if you got some errors that really feel and seem and look like sins that can't be corrected, that can't be forgiven, then start practicing seeing other people's so-called sins as just errors, just mistakes that they're making just like everybody else, that they deserve a loving correction for. Practice seeing other people's so-called sins as just errors that they are making just like you, and that see that they are loved by God just like you, and that God wants to lovingly correct their errors just like God wants to do with you. So practice seeing other people in this way. Start practicing seeing their so-called sins that you are holding grievances around in this new way. Why? So that you can be healed completely of what? Of your burdens of feeling like your mistakes are sins that can't be forgiven. Because as long as you feel guilty, your ego will be in charge of your mind, and you will be unconsciously requesting more punishment for yourself. So remember that. All right, what a beautiful practice. Anybody got any grievances out there with people that they can practice these on? All right. Well, if you don't, then you probably don't need this class. Or see me, I'll give you some of my own to work on. Okay. So now we're going to go to the next workbook lesson that the random number generator picked, which is workbook lesson 334. And it's just so perfect. It's just so perfect. Remember, I told you at the beginning that I did the random number generator, put in the 3 books, it picked the workbook, and it picked that first lesson that we just completed. Lesson, what is it? Lesson 247. And then realizing that we might finish that lesson before our class time was up, I went to the random number generator and it pulled up another workbook lesson, strangely, weirdly, on the topic of forgiveness, and weirdly, the rewards of choosing forgiveness. So in the lesson 247 that we just did, called Without Forgiveness, I Will Still Be Blind, it told us the cost of our grievances to us, not to them that you are holding grievances with, right? Holding a grievance, that you've heard me say a million times, is like drinking poison and hoping somebody else dies. So in the lesson 247, we heard what is the cost of holding grievances to us, not to the people we're holding those grievances. We are the ones who pay the price for the grievances that we are holding, not them. They don't even know. They're out partying like a big dog. They have no idea that you're holding a grievance with them and suffering because of your grievance. Now, so, we tell ourselves that we're suffering from what they did to us, and that's why we have a grievance. But really, we are suffering from the grievances that we are holding against them. And really, a grievance means I really just don't want to see the simple truth about the matter. or about them or myself. I don't want to see what the simple truth about them that love sees, because I want to be right more than I want to be happy. I want to be right more than I don't want to suffer, right? So in lesson 247, we heard about the cost of our grievances to us, and the only way to be liberated, the only way to be healed completely from the effects of the grievances that we're holding against others. In this lesson, 334, that the random number generator chose second, go figure, is about the rewards of forgiveness to us and how to claim them. It's like, you have these rewards, all you got to do is come claim them, And so now we're going to hear about the rewards of forgiveness that you can claim for yourself, right? Okay. So, and this lesson is titled, Today I Claim the Gifts Forgiveness Gives. Today I claim the gifts forgiveness gives. Or you could say, today I claim the gifts my forgiveness gives. What does my forgiveness give? Gifts that I want to claim. Okay. So apparently that when I practice correct perception, I will automatically experience rewards, gifts, but I often choose not to claim them. Right? I'm doing the forgiveness, but I'm choosing not to claim them. And so today we're going to learn how to claim the gifts that our forgiveness has given us. All right. So I got some gifts I have not claimed yet. Oh, I love that. You have some unclaimed gifts that are waiting for you. That's exciting. Okay. So it says in this lesson, paragraph 1, it says, I will not wait another day to find the treasures that God offers me, period. All right. You're saying God offers me treasures? Really? Who? Really? God offers you treasures. Now, today, you can claim them. You don't have to wait one more day to claim the treasures that your Creator offers you. Not will be offering you, not might be offering you if you behave right, but the treasures that your Creator is offering you now. Who knew? It says grievance, it says illusions, but I'm going to use the word grievances since we've been on the topic of forgiveness and grievances. So whatever is not forgiveness is a grievance. So where it says illusions, I'm going to say the word grievances. So the sentence is, grievances are all in vain. Grievances are all vain. Ooh, let that sentence sink in. Grievances are all vain. All grievances are vain. Very interesting. And grievances are gone even while the grievances are being woven out of thoughts that rest on false perceptions. Wow. So if you're having a grievance, what does that mean? According to A Course in Miracles, if you're having a grievance, it means you are weaving a false perception that is fleeting, that is already gone. It never even was true. It's already gone because it never was true. That's what your grievances are. And they are all vain. They're all in vain and they're all vain, right? What do you mean by vain? It means that they're all made up. They're all vain. They're all projections. So grievances are all vain, and grievances are gone even while your grievances are being woven out of thoughts that rest on false perceptions. Because remember what we said earlier, what the Course says about grievances is that it's false perception. That's what grievances are. You're not seeing the correct perception of who they are and who you are and who God is and what is real and true in reality surrounding you, loving you, supporting you. A grievance is you're not seeing all the good. You're not seeing who they really are and who you really are and who love created you both to be equally. You're not seeing any of that. When you are holding a grievance, you are perceiving falsely, and you're holding the grievance vainly, like for nothing, right? Which means grievance is where you're going to suffer for nothing. All your suffering will be in vain for nothing because you're suffering for nothing. When you hold grievance, you will be suffering for nothing because grievances do not represent reality. Grievances do not represent what's really true, what's really going on, and who you and they really are. Grievances are always a choice to be blind, to not see the good, the beautiful, and the holy that makes up reality. Okay, so grievances are all vain and they're gone even while you're weaving them out of false perceptions. That's the truth about your grievance. No matter what it is that you think you did, and no matter how it is that you think that you have been hurt by that, your hurt is letting you know that you're not seeing correctly, that you're blind. If you were seeing correctly, if you were seeing what's really there, what's really true about you and them and God and reality, you could not be hurting. If you knew the truth about yourself, you could not be hurting. You would not be experiencing pain. Like we heard in the last lesson, pain comes from false perception. Pain comes from self-deception. So you can't be seeing correctly, meaning in alignment with how love sees, and also be suffering. Wow. That's why grievances are all in vain. That's why all the suffering that you suffer because of your grievances is suffering for nothing. It's suffering in vain. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to suffer for nothing. Do you? I don't want to suffer for nothing. So I want to learn how to see others that I'm holding grievances with the way love sees them. And what can I lose by asking? Even if I don't believe it, I can always say, love, how do you see this person right now? What do you know about this person, love? Yeah. And, when you've suffered enough and you begin to see the connection between your suffering and your grievances, then you'll be willing to go, okay, love, well, how do you see them? And Course in Miracles says, it's okay if you ask that half-heartedly. Spirit's going to answer you completely, even if you've asked half-heartedly. Thank you for that, Spirit. Thank you for that, Course in Miracles. Thank you for that you answer me completely, even when I'm asking half-heartedly. Thank you for that. So right now, that's all I can do. Now, then it says, so it says, love, help me not accept such meager gifts again today, like these grievances. Let me not accept such meager gifts as these grievances again today. Help me not accept these grievances, which are such meager gifts. Help me not rest content with grievances, which are such meager gifts. Your grievances even though you think you're right and you think they're valid, they can't give you love. They can't make you happy. They certainly don't make more people want to be around you. You know, they don't bring you more friends. They don't bring you more help. They don't bring you more abundance. Your grievances do not help you at all. They are meager gifts. You know, a grievance is a meager gift. It's like a little crumb. It's like, well, at least I'm right. You know, I may not be happy. I may be sick and broke and lonely, but at least I got my little grievance, and it will be my only friend. It will be everything to me. That's a meager gift. And then this is reminding you, don't let yourself accept such meager gifts as your grievances. You know, they're not your friend. They'll never comfort you. They'll always betray you, and they'll always be making you more broke, more sick, and more lonely. So don't accept these meager gifts of your grievances today. They're not your friends. They're the reason you're suffering. So don't accept such meager gifts as your grievance today. Not when God's voice is offering you the peace of God. It's like, grievance, peace of God. Let's see. Do I want to accept this meager gift crumb of this grievance, which will never keep me warm and never make me happy and just make me more lonely, broken, sick? Or should I accept the peace of God that the voice for God is offering me to hear and choose to follow? That's our choice today and every day, in every hour, in every minute, and in every second. That's our choice. Should I accept these meager gifts that my grievance is offering me? Or should I accept the peace of God that the voice of peace within me is offering me to hear and follow? That's the choice. This is the choice today. And so today, let's go to find the treasures that God has given us, shall we? That's the decision that we're making today. Right? Beautiful. Hi, Daniel. Lovely to see you. Daniel says, gracias. I have plenty of opportunities to practice forgiveness. Yes, me too. Everybody. Here we are. Here we are in the world of opportunities for forgiveness. Right. That's why the Course in Miracles says that everybody you meet is your savior. They're your healer. And because, you know, in that's why the Course in Miracles says that you can be happy here, because the opportunities to forgive your brothers and sisters are everywhere. And so you have opportunities to make yourself glad every day, everywhere you are, every minute. Why? Because your saviors are all around you, offering you opportunities to practice the forgiveness that sets you free from pain, from suffering, from guilt, from lack. I love that. And then DR says, LOL, the ego's pathetic, whiny voice. I know. Forgive me while I laugh at my ego. That's one of mine and Greg's favorite pastimes, is making fun of our egos. And the ego's whiny and rude and vain and stupid and mean and, you know, all that. Demi says, thank you. I choose to be glad. That's right. And Mary says, I need to send this video to my friend. You've explained forgiveness so perfectly. Wonderful. I'm so glad. Such a helpful recontextualization. Thank you, DR. Okay. Yeah, exactly. So the people that we're holding grievances with, if we were seeing correctly, if we had correct perception, we would see them as our savior, someone whom God sent us so that we could see them correctly, so that we could be released from suffering today, right? That's who they really are. That's where they really came from. That's the purpose they've really come into our lives for. And, and if we saw that, we wouldn't be holding a grievance with them. We would be giving them flowers and telling them, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for showing up right on time, So, no, it's silly little ego, truly. And consistent, exactly. Okay, beautiful. So that was paragraph 1 of lesson 334. And paragraph number 2 is the prayer. So the prayer is, I seek only the eternal. So it's like a prayer. It's also like an affirmation. I seek only the eternal. So instead of seeking grievances today, like I've been doing and suffering, instead of seeking grievances today, I'm going to seek only the eternal today. I'm going to seek for something different today because I'm tired of suffering. I'm going to seek only for the eternal. Why? Because I, your child, God, can be content with, for I, your child, can be content with nothing less than the eternal. So I'm going to stop seeking for contentment in my grievances today. That's what I'm going to do, making that decision, because I'm a child of God and I cannot be content with anything but the eternal. I can never be satisfied and happy with my grievance. So what a deep thought. I can never be happy with my grievances. It's a deep thought. Something we don't typically think about when we're holding a grievance. Our ego's telling us, "Ooh, if you just hold this grievance and you punish this person and you get revenge on this person, then you'll be happy. You'll feel satisfied." That's what the ego's telling us, and that's the way we act. We pursue that grievance with tenacity, like a dog with a bone. Not stopping to think, will this grievance ever make me happy? Will I ever experience happiness by holding this grievance, even if I get revenge on this grievance? Right. It's reminding us that you, as a child of God, you cannot be content with a grievance. No grievance, no matter how right you are, no matter how valid you are, no matter how good of revenge you get for that grievance, it cannot content you. You'll never go, oh, I got revenge. I feel so great. I feel so light and I feel so good and I feel so healthy and I feel so alive. That will never happen. But we don't think about that until we hear something like this tell us that you, as a child of God, you can never be content with that grievance that you're holding and nurturing and nursing, as that as your only friend. It says the child of God, cannot be content with a grievance, with the meager gifts and crumbs of your grievances. What then can be your solace but what you are offering to sorry, I'm going to start that over. Got some ego in my throat. What can be their solace but what you are offering to their bewildered mind and frightened heart, to give them certainty, to bring them peace? That's the only thing that can content you. That's the only thing that can content you. What's a grievance? This grievance will never content you, but here's something that will bring you contentment, is offering them solace for their bewildered mind and frightened heart, offering them solace, giving them certainty, and bringing them peace. Now that will content you, and only that. That's the only thing that can content a child of God. The only thing that can content a child of God is offering solace to another child of God, bringing their frightened mind and bewildered heart solace and some certainty and some peace. Well, this person that you have a grievance with, the truth about them is that they are a child of God who has a bewildered mind and a frightened heart. That is what love sees in them. You're seeing the sin they committed that they deserve to be punished for. Love is seeing that they have a bewildered mind and a frightened heart, and they need solace. They need some certainty from you, through you. That's the only thing that will ever content you for real in your heart of hearts. Not until you're offering that kind of solace to other people's bewildered mind and frightened hearts. Only then will you find contentment in your soul, rest unto your soul. So, given all that, how about today, let's practice seeing other people as sinless. Okay. The way to practice all of this is practicing seeing everyone as sinless, especially you know who, the one that you've been holding a grievance with. And God, this is your will for me. That's your plan for my happiness. That's your plan for my healing, God. I get that now. In lesson 334, 20 from the end of the whole workbook. I see now, God, that your plan for me, for my true soul contentment, is to see others as sinless, to see the people I'm holding grievances with as sinless, to practice seeing everybody as sinless. That's God's plan. That's your plan for my happiness, God. I finally see it on lesson 334. Better late than never. All right. I see that's what your plan is for me. All right. Oh, and also I want to put up, oh yeah, there's my website. Okay. This is your will for me, and for so will I behold my sinlessness. This is your will for me, God, because that's how I will be able to see my sinlessness. So what's God's plan for your happiness? Is for you to see other people's sinlessness so that you can see your own sinlessness, so that you can claim the treasures, the rewards of forgiveness that God is offering you now, today, for you to claim for yourself. Okay? But you can't claim the gifts of your sinlessness that your Creator is already offering you, always the treasures. You're not gonna claim them because you won't feel worthy of them until you see other people as sinless and deserving to claim the gifts and the treasures that their Creator is offering to them. So that's how it goes. That's God's plan for our contentment. That is God's plan for us to experience rest unto our souls, true peace of mind, true contentment, true joy. That's the only way. That's the only way. It doesn't come from getting all the power, fame, and money and physical pleasure in the world. It doesn't come from getting people to change for you. It doesn't come from any of that. It doesn't come from how you look. It doesn't come from what you have. True peace of mind and contentment in your soul only comes when you are offering solace to other people's bewildered minds and frightened hearts, offering them certainty, reminding them of their sinlessness, seeing them as sinless, no matter what they're thinking about themselves. That's the only thing. And that's the only way for you to experience happiness. And that's God's plan for your happiness. And that's why the Course in Miracles is off. That's what Course in Miracles is. It's the plan. It's the forgiveness plan by which we release ourselves by releasing each other from guilt. How beautiful. All right, you guys. Well, okay. I'm going to, I just want to tell you guys about my website, divinerevolutionarq.com. And in through my website, you'll be able to watch my Course in Miracles classes. All but my most recent classes, they won't be available anymore on Facebook or YouTube, but you will be able to watch them as a member of my website. And also, you'll be able to access my Course in Miracles recordings, where I'm just reading the Course in Miracles to beautiful music. And those will be available for members on my website. And also my writings, my current writings now I place in a blog on my website. So if you could use some Course in Miracles healing inspiration, there's lots of it going on now. Also, members of my website can join with me once a month on a Zoom call where we just do our Course in Miracles support group, where we just talk about the course and we talk about what we want to apply these ideas to. So, and then also it's a great way to connect with me, to schedule a one-on-one miracle psychotherapeutic session with me if that's something that could be helpful. In my holistic counseling practice, miracle psychotherapeutics, I support folks who would like some support through some kind of transition or challenge they're having, but they would like it from the thought system of A Course in Miracles. And so if that's something that you feel like you could benefit from, then reach out to me through my website, and then we'll schedule that. We'll see if we can apply the truth and accept some miracles, the miracles that you desire and that you deserve. All right. Now I'm going to, for the closing meditation, I'm going to read to you a short piece from my book, Declaration of Independence for the New Earth. This is my love song to the teachers and healers of humanity, the people who've decided to take their place among the healers of the world. So this is for inspiration for you guys, and for all out there who've said, yes, I will take my part among the healers of humanity. Okay. All of us need lots of support. We got a big job. We are the light of the world. So I'm going to turn up the music a little bit, and then I'm going to read this to you. And then I may do something more of just a couple of minutes of a closing meditation. So this will be our closing integration meditation. All right. So if you're able, close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And hear your higher self speaking to you. Teachers and healers. And this is titled, Now is the Time. Now is the time to summon your courage and state your mission. Damn the cost to your fears and all their divisions. Now is the time to picture your heart's desire. And now you must resist the fears that say, forget about it. I'll never be good enough anyway. Dream your happiest dreams, even if you see no way to bring them to fruition. For these are the days of signs and wonders, where those who work for love will inherit the new earth and be its guide back into its awaiting cosmic family. Now is the time. And so just take a breath and breathe and feel. And I want you to bring to your awareness somebody that you had been holding a grievance against. I want you to see this person's face, see familiar gestures they may make. And I want you to tell yourself, I want you to ask love, love, how do you see this person? What do you know about this person, love, that I am forgetting right now? And breathe. Love, show me this person through your eyes. I want you to look on this person and I want you to see love showing you their loveliness, the loveliness that love sees in them, the innocence, the radiance, the sinlessness that love sees in them. I want you to look upon them like God seeing God's perfect child in them. Their innocence is there in them. In fact, it is their truth. Look now past the veil of guilt that you covered them in. Pull off that veil of sin that you covered them in, and look at that child of God and see that little spark of innocence in them. If you want to see it, you can see it. Go past their body, go past their ego, looking for that spark of light, that spark of their innocence, which is really just a part of a much greater blazing light that is their true self. And I want you to say to them, let me see your sinlessness. Your loveliness reflects my own. And tell them your sinlessness is mine. And then tell them you stand forgiven and I stand with you. This is how you honor God, by seeing God's children as they are. And this is how you come to recognize yourself, your own loveliness, the loveliness of your innocence. That is your true self forever. And breathe. How do they look to you now? And how do you feel about yourself right now, having chosen to see them as God sees them? How do you feel about yourself right now, having chosen to see them as a beloved, innocent, sinless child of God and equal to you? Beautiful. Way to practice, guys. Way to accept your own healing. Way to accept your perfect and complete healing. Way to accept God's plan for your happiness, your soul contentment. Good job. Way to love yourself. Way to heal the world. I appreciate you. And I will see you next time I see you. So happy to be you.